Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
So, did you do any April Fooling?
No. I almost forgot. So I almost forgot, except for one thing that drove me insane is I hated reading news on April Fool's Day because
Right, because you're very
you could
skeptical.
never
Basically.
tell what articles were April Fool's jokes and which ones weren't. And it's really funny because one of them was an article that came out that made its way through the cryptocurrency forums because it was talking about how they had come out with one of the regulatory commissions had come out and said cryptocurrencies are basically okay, and that immediately shot Bitcoin on a bull run, and it went up to this $6,000 price range again from $3,000 where it's at. And this was being accepted as legitimate news at a lot of places. And I found this article, and even at the bottom of the article, the article is written very professionally, like it's a real article. And the bottom of it, the guy was like, "And the only final comment I have to make is Happy April Fool's Day." So he even put at the bottom of the article it was an April Fool's Day article. But it was still out there to the point where people were just picking it up and putting it on news websites as legitimate news. And
Right.
the ironic thing about that is today, somehow, for out of nowhere, the cryptocurrency market literally did go onto a bull run. And so cryptocurrency all of a sudden is up, 30% or something like that from yesterday's prices.
Wow.
So up a significant amount, which is just ironic coming after this,
You're right.
bull run article.
So, after your investments, I know you were down.
Oh, I'm probably still officially slightly down, but because everything's still significantly lower than things were at that,
Right.
years ago at that.
That's what I thought
ridiculous
was strange about your choice.
I
of timing.
actually probably am. Well, the thing is, I was selling certain coins for other coins because at the time there was a lot less U.S. corridors at the time, and which means you couldn't just purchase certain cryptos directly with U.S. dollars. So I was buying these other currencies and then converting them to the ones that I wanted. Some of them now that are more popular and you can buy directly with U.S. currency. So honestly, I probably broke even a little while ago because I also bought other stuff when things really tanked out at the bottom that have gone up since then. So I'm probably actually about net average right now, net even right now. I'm actually probably a little up after today's little run, but I don't see today's run as a sustainable thing. I think it's going to bounce right on back down tomorrow. If I had balls, I'd sell all my stuff and then buy it back tomorrow, but that something tells me that if you do that, it's going to be one of those. It's going to shoot up to infinity. So it's more of for me, it's a long term thing. I haven't bought any in a long time. I've just been kind of holding it.
Right. See, to me, I guess I don't know. I whenever you were buying it, I was of the opposite mindset. It felt like it was in a bubble.
Yeah. Well, and it clearly was in a bubble
later. Right. I mean, I could see maybe just holding that money and then buying it. But I mean, I guess you could have got lucky and bought one of the ones that was coming out as a fresh coin, and then it became the one that everyone got jumped onto instead of Bitcoin. So I mean, I guess there were possibilities. I was real skeptical about the possibilities, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of people that are, and there's a lot of people that will never get into crypto for that, and they are not going to ever lose money on it because they're never gonna get into it. But it's also kind of like playing the lottery. You can't win unless you play type of deal. So if you have the thought process that maybe this is something that is going to be, something in the future that you want to buy a stake in now and then hold for a long time and see what happens. And that's the point where I'm at. I'm just like, hey, I'll get in on this and hold for a while and see what happens. I could be rich in 2 years because of what I put in. Even though I've lost money, I could be rich in 2 years. I could lose it all as well. My thing is I was very much of the I will only invest. I'm a savvy spender. I have a job that pays good money. I know what money I can afford to lose and things like that. I did not put any more in than I can afford to lose.
Right.
So I assume this money is
still
gone.
have
As it stands now, my mentality says this money is gone. It does not exist. If it happens to make me a shit ton of money in the future, it was free money because it's almost like I budgeted for it.
Right. I mean, the money that that I have in Bitcoin and other coins, like that just sits in my Coinbase, and that's just where it's gonna sit forever.
Well, you should look at it
Unless
today because
suddenly,
it's significantly up than it was yesterday. It just might be right back to the same spot or lower tomorrow. Like, that's
right.
the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from where it started, it's definitely a lot higher from where it started. Whenever someone had first bought, like
Yeah,
Play
because yours
Minecraft
is all
with it.
from nothing that you purchased. It was when people bought onto the Play Minecraft server and you could accept
Right.
Bitcoin at the time, right? Or that one guy who
Exactly.
donated to you on Twitch or something like that.
There was the one donation,
Which they apparently
and then,
stopped
but
allowing.
that's a Litecoin, I think, is what that is. That's not Bitcoin.
I'm so annoyed they stopped allowing that. Not that anybody ever donated to me on there, but it's still the concept.
What do you mean they stopped?
I read an article
do
the other day that Twitch secretly got rid of it without making an announcement.
Well, no, Stream. I mean, Streamlabs is separate from Twitch.
Oh,
Maybe on Twitch you could buy your subscription with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, so I wonder if Stream
They
does.
probably got rid of it because of like the transaction fees for doing any or whatever. Right?
Well,
Wasn't
and
like
that's why you get, and that's the interesting thing, and that's why I still think, and I don't understand why Bitcoin is pumping at all. Bitcoin itself, which still is driving the market, so Bitcoin started going up, and then all these other ones started going up, so all the quote unquote altcoins are following. And people still believe in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the worst of all the cryptocurrencies, in my opinion. It is so slow. It is so expensive for all the transactions. Like, it was revolutionary and a breakthrough, but there's so many better coins that have come out since Bitcoin paved the way that are super cheap transaction fees, super quick on the ledgers, yet Bitcoin is still the one that people look to as what's going to drive the future.
So when it comes to farming, everything I've read.
Hey,
says
we're
that, like,
doing that right now.
But what I read, it's not cost effective to farm Bitcoin. But what about the other coins?
So not all the coins are farmable.
Oh,
So they're only farmable if they were made and meant to be farmable, and if they need, I don't know, power of work or whatever it is. I'm not an expert in all the terminology and how it all works. But there's certain ones like XRP is based on a ledger system that has you cannot farm it. It's not the way it works. Bitcoin and stuff and that's why a lot of transaction fees come from the fact that you have to pay the farmers, because the farmers are the ones who like write the transactions into the blockchain or whatever, how all that works. It still confuses the hell out of me. And it's not cost effective now because the amount of money that Bitcoin is worth, it costs you more money in power consumption and hardware and such than it does the payment that you get. But that's taking it from the price of Bitcoin now. If Bitcoin goes up again to $20,000, it will all of a sudden become a lucrative business, not because anything changed except the price of Bitcoin. So in theory, it's like you're getting a raise.
see, I thought it wasn't because of there's so few coins left to be farmed.
So that has actually made it so the payments are less. So yes, that has also gone into it. There's certain times that I think they call it the halvening, if I understand correctly, where the payment for finding the block gets cut in half, which it's halved quite a few times since, the inception of Bitcoin. So you do get paid less for the transactions. That is correct. That is true. For the Bitcoin ecosystem. I don't know how it works in all the other ecosystems.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, a lot of that concept is still weird to me. There's people who made some sick money mining Bitcoin when they got into it at the right time. And there's some people who've definitely lost a shit ton of money because they got into it. Kind of like when I started getting into like researching a little bit more on crypto to know what cryptos I wanted to invest in and things like that, which ones I think have like real world usage versus just, it's like, so one of the ones that pumped a lot in the past couple of days was Dogecoin. Your boy Dogecoin is up to like I think it went from 1 penny to 2.5 pennies in 24 hours. So you're talking 150% increase in that coin. And it is, like you said, known as it's a bullshit coin. Like it was made for that purpose of being a bullshit coin. And there it still is. I mean, it's so interesting too because one of the concepts of cryptocurrency was anonymous currency, which has changed completely in the last multiple years, because now even to get a hold of, like, to work with exchanges, there's so many rules and regulations about them now. They need to, like, verify your driver's license, that you are who you are. So they can, what do they call it? The KYC regulations, the Know Your Customer regulations or something like that. Like, they have to verify you, so you can no longer, granted, my transactions might be anonymous, but you can always follow all that stuff through the blockchain, and you can watch what address started all this stuff and went to who. Therefore, there's technically not anonymity anymore in the crypto markets, which I find funny because a lot of people got into it, to purchase drugs and all that stuff. Like, that's what,
Right.
Bitcoin was for. If somebody wanted to, like, do anything, under the radar, which I don't even think that's a thing anymore. Did you hear about the recent one that got hacked? Or didn't get hacked.
No.
So it was one of the exchanges. One of the owners of it suddenly died. And it was an exchange that kept all of the funds in a cold wallet, which means it was like an offline wallet. And apparently the person who died suddenly, like, it was a young guy, like, it was the only one that had the keys to the wallet.
Wow.
So, and keys are, obviously not physical jingle keys. It's
Right.
an algorithm type of deal. And without it, it's damn near impossible. That's part of the point of how it works to crack. And all these customers just lost a shit ton of money because they're just locked in a wallet that nobody can access. Well, then the story turns a couple of days later, and all of a sudden, somehow a group of hackers hacked into, I don't know if it was a computer that this guy used to own, and they found out that, like, a couple days before his death, mysteriously there was transactions for most of that funds to go elsewhere out of the wallets. They actually weren't there anymore. Apparently, they think he faked his death and stole the money.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
It's all about
espionage.
Some crazy shit. So if you were to really think about it, I don't remember what country this guy was from. If you were to really think about it, like, if you were to fake your death, where would you go? Where do you go that you think you'd be safe?
I mean, we done fucked up and everybody done seen our face and made a million videos, so we really fucked.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, he could probably get away with it better. I mean, I'm just going to assume he wasn't very public, ahead of that. Like, this is my currency, and here I am. I'm doing on news articles and on TV and that sort of thing. Assuming he didn't do all that shit, then, I mean, he could go anywhere, right? Especially if he's got all the money in the world.
I mean, I guess, but aren't you going to be worried that your fingerprints are going to somehow match to something? Or, what type of country wouldn't be, like, running your fingerprints ever for anything, or be able to use, like, databases? Yeah, I guess we'd have to go through our, like, audience and look at, like, the demographic map of where everybody's from and find a place
we'd
that,
have to decide based on who's viewing us.
What place doesn't, like, view me? Because I would like to move someplace, like, if I had to move to a different country, I'd love to go someplace like, I'd move to Iceland. I know a lot of people don't like the cold, but I'd move places like that because, I'm a winter guy anyway. Somewhere in the Netherlands, like, would be cool to go to. But I know that I have people from those areas that watch my channel. So I can't go to some place like that. I'd have to go to, like, trying to think of, like, probably some little town in the outskirts of Russia somewhere that I wouldn't, not a place that I would want to be.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hard part there. Like, you stole this money, you fake your death, but now what is your life like?
Yeah, because I know you would have probably loved to go to Europe, but you can't go there. There's way too many Europeans that, like, watch you. And granted, with Brexit and all that stuff anymore, is that even where you want to go? Like, that's
right.
That's gonna get a little bit crazy.
I mean, it had to be somewhere for me that speaks English, because I don't even.
Oh, I didn't even think about that when I said. Again, it takes out some of those good options I had before. They're all English-speaking places I could have gone to. Sorry, can't do it now. I'd have to, like, change my voice too, because my voice is way too distinct.
Somebody hear you.
You'd have to stop laughing, man. I mean, it'd be all over. Yeah, I
So,
mean, I've been at a music festival before, and I asked somebody randomly for directions to one of the stages, and they had never seen my face at the time, but they heard my voice, and they said, "Are you Jay Sano?" And she said it's because she immediately recognized my voice, and it's
wow.
yeah. I need to change my voice. Like,
That's pretty crazy.
That would be weird. Yeah, but I can't imagine like if you just stole like because I think it was like $130 million that this guy had.
Lord.
had like where would you try to escape to? And it's even worth it. Like, granted, having $130 million would be awesome, but wouldn't you be constantly paranoid that people would be trying to kill you if they ever found out the whole time?
Right. So with Bitcoin, isn't there like one guy that started it, and like if he ever does a transaction, everyone's going to panic or some shit like that?
Yatako Samoshi, or is that his name?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, and there's been now a bunch of people claiming to be him. But yeah, I guess there is some like major wallet that has most of the original Bitcoin in it that people watch.
Fear if he spends money?
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those lottery winner type things. You know, why do you want to remain anonymous if you win the lottery? You think it's that?
No, but everything I've read says that like if he starts spending money from his wallet, Bitcoin's going to crash.
Oh, I think from what I understand about that is they say that when the people who own it or start selling their stash, it means they no longer believe in it, and therefore the market's going to tank. And the problem is they might be right, not because that was the intent of the person, but if there's people who think that, the second somebody sees that transaction will start triggering people to FOMO sell to take their profits because they think it's tanking, and then everybody starts selling because the market starts going down. So it inevitably, just because people think this would be the case, could cause that to happen.
Huh. That's
yeah,
so weird.
Which
like,
is
so he has a bunch of Bitcoin that he can never use,
right? Unless he wants to sell it all at once and hope he can make the market transactions before people realize that it's gone. I guess.
So, I mean, you would think him using one Bitcoin wouldn't trigger like this mass hysteria.
You're right. You know, who knows if there's an address that maybe makes a single transaction that all of a sudden that would cause the end. I don't know. I don't know if that's the only reason, and I only know what I've read on Reddit and stuff. So who knows what's really the case. It will be interesting to see though, as because not Bitcoin itself, cryptocurrencies, as much as people talk bad about them, they're getting more and more accepted by more and more like major institutions as well. So at some point they're going to be an accepted currency at a lot of places. Whether it helps like adoption of it and make it like really mainstream or not, I have no idea if it's going to be something that takes over. But it is really interesting to see, like, when can you say you lived in an age when we made new money, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, and part of it's kind of scary because it feels like if suddenly it's so widely accepted and it's like adopted as the primary currency, how does that affect the global market in terms of like the U.S. economy, the Chinese economy, all these different economies? Like, how does it affect? Because right now people kind of ignore cryptocurrency for the most part, it feels like. So like it doesn't have an effect on the value of the dollar and that sort of thing. But like,
I will tell you, when the value of the dollar starts going down, crypto starts going up, though.
I wonder. I bet the same is true for gold.
It's possible.
The value of gold goes up.
It's possible. I don't own stocks in gold, so I don't know.
I mean, there's lots of people that have gold in their house because Fox News told them to.
That's true. Isn't it interesting also to think about the cryptocurrency market that had you gotten in, like you always talk about when Pyro wanted you to get in, how rich you could potentially be right now? And I don't mean that from a like you perspective, but think of how many people actually did. How many Bitcoin millionaires are out there that we don't really hear about?
The thing is, how many of them didn't sell when it was at 10,000, and how much regret do they have?
Oh, that's possibly.
Or do you think they're sitting like where they're like, nah, it'll be back?
I don't. There was a guy the last time when it went up to 20,000 or whatever. There was a guy who did was it the Pineapple Fund? He called it. It was a guy who had made like what he said was he started basically a fund because he had made so much money he was giving out big chunks of money to charities, and he was on a lot of the cryptocurrency Reddit saying, hey, give me a charity and why I should donate to them, and I'll put it on my list of and think about if it's a charity that I want to donate to. And he was trying to donate to like small startups that were trying to do like good technologies to change the world, like very genuine person it seemed. And I literally like read this AMA with him, and people kept asking him like, so why are you doing this? And his response was that he had made so much money in Bitcoin that he never thought he would make, like so much money he didn't know what to do with. He knew he couldn't even try to spend, and it wasn't even worth it to save because it was just so much money that he wanted to do good things with it. And a lot of people were like, but what if Bitcoin tanks again? And his response was, don't worry, I've cashed out already so much money. I still have holdings in case it goes up or down or whatever, but I've already cashed out in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Wow. And I'm thinking, damn, this dude 2 weeks ago was like, I wonder how cool this is going to be if this takes off. Then he was like, hundreds of millions of dollars in my accounts.
That's some wild shit.
I hope it happens, man. It'd be nice if my I don't have enough money in them that I could. God, if I made hundreds of millions of dollars based on the investments that I currently have, that means like Bitcoin. Because I don't own much Bitcoin, but just in relation to the market, Bitcoin would probably have to be worth close to $1 million. A Bitcoin for me to even be close to.
Which, I mean, if that ever happens, I feel like that's when you're talking about destroying all other economies as we know it.
Is that necessarily a bad thing? Universal currency? Whether it's you want to argue that it's a bad thing to have with Bitcoin or with a cryptocurrency, but universal currency, wouldn't it be nice?
I mean, universal currency is cool and all, but if suddenly the value of the dollar goes to the point where no one can afford anything, and all the wealth shifts from people who had U.S. dollars to people who have Bitcoin, then that's when things get fucked up. That's what I'm saying.
Actually, isn't that what happened when some country adopted the euro?
Greece?
Was it Greece? That they basically, it's so deflated the value of their money that it completely changed their economy fundamentally, in a very bad way.
I do believe this is Greece that you're talking about. I don't know enough details, but that does sound right. That adopting the euro or it devalued. I don't remember exactly, but it is Greece.
It did something that fucked up their economy in a really bad way.
Yeah, or maybe it fucked up the euro in a bad way because they're now suddenly. There was something. There was definitely something where the euro got adopted, and it was with Greece.
Guys, if you want the facts, listen to us. We got them for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any research. We'll tell you how it all really is. So it was Turkey, and it was the euro, but not like the European euro. It was like the sandwiches. They used those as currency. And
they had the best tzatziki sauce.
Oh God, yeah, I got it. It might be worth a lot of money. Oh my! You know what I had last night for the first time, and it's not going to be the last because I never even thought it was possible.
What'd you get?
So I sent the ambulance crew instead of the engine crew out last night because I had a meeting I had to attend at the fire station. So I sent them out to buy the food, and they did not disappoint. They came back, and we had BLTs, but we had BLTs with garlic bread as garlic bread as the bread.
That's interesting.
Like a loaf of the frozen, we throw it in the oven, garlic bread. I don't mean like we just put like garlic, salt, and butter on, on the thing. It was so fucking good, man. Probably because it's so terrible for you. But I love me some garlic bread, and I now love me some garlic bread BLT sandwiches.
That sounds good.
It was really, really good. I'll
try it.
A very happy person.
A
very happy person.
All right, everybody. So turkey, euros, BLTs, some garlic bread, and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks. All that he said. Send me Bitcoin. All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.